Hello everyone, I'm here today with a new process video. I am working on photos from New York and I'm finally at dinner for day one. I have my menu here. This was just a hole in the wall place we found in Harlem when we were up there after visiting Hamilton Grange. And we knew we needed to eat before we went to the botanical garden because we were taking the subway up there, so it's going to take a while. And then the event itself, we had no idea how long it was going to take us to get through it. And we ended up spending a good chunk of time, so I'm glad we ate beforehand. So we found this place just within a couple blocks of Hamilton Grange, and I have some photos here of the meal that I chose. So definitely need a pocket card here, probably with at least some journaling room, maybe. If I found a card that I felt was spectacular with just a phrase that didn't need journaling, I might do it, but I'm thinking journaling. And then for this, I'm just not sure what to do with it. I'm going to put an attacher on, and it will go in the album in its entirety, but I'm wondering, should I keep this back or cover it? The only thing that I ordered off here, I did order one of the desserts. I had baklava there, but otherwise I don't really need to see anything on the back, and it's kind of obvious what I had there. So I may cover it up. And I know I have a couple of 4x6 cards in my food collection, I'm pretty sure, that would cover up part of this. But this is obviously larger than that. So then I would need to put background paper on it as well. So that's the only thing that kind of deters me, because this album is going to be big as it is. So adding like cardstock on top or something else really is not my first choice. I have pulled out all of my food cards. So I have this bag. It continues on to this one, so these are all 3x4s, and then this one, which are 4x6. So I'll save these because I'm not sure what I'm doing with the back yet, but I will look through here to see what I can find that would work with the photos that I have. I am considering these two cards. I actually looked for something in red to match the menu, but I really didn't have anything that was going to work. So I'm surprised by how few red cards I have, actually. But it didn't work. So I pulled out these thinking I could use either of these yellow ones. This one would be fun because I could just like write in or stamp the number of what I thought here, which would be kind of fun. Maybe I could stamp it in red and then that would bring it together, or use red number stickers. That would also work. This one though does allow me to do some journaling. But as I was looking at this, it dawned on me I have some stuff. So you can see this is like Middle Eastern / kind of Balkans. I mean, there were a lot of different options here that were crossovers between multiple countries, Greek, Lebanese, I mean, just lots of options. And I realized I have a whole bin of stuff that I have pre-purchased for Greece because it's still on my list to get there. I'm wondering if there's something in there that might work a little bit better with this. So I'm actually going to pull out that bin of stuff and see what's in there. I did find one card in my Grease stuff that I thought might work. I noticed the colors that are on the plate here, and then of the cup. I found this. I could go either way, go this direction or this direction, but this is definitely more like Moroccan, Mediterranean feel to it. So I might go with that. That's not what I thought at all. And then I thought, oh, I'd love it if these weren't next to each other, but the two yellow tones I think need to be separated, so I think it would have to stay that way. So if I use that one, then I just have to figure out what am I going to put on it. And I do have all of my little food items right here, so I'm sure something in there would work. And I would love it if I could actually find a bigger piece of ephemera to cover up some of that, either circular for the middle, square, I mean just something that would take up some of that space. So I will look for that next. So I pulled out some ephemera pieces and I have some options here, but then I thought to myself, maybe I should pick out the card. If I'm gonna cover this with something, maybe I should look at what I have. And I found this. Again, not what I was really thinking, but the color kind of works. And then I have a little bit of that represented, like in a nice visual triangle too. You get a little bit of it here, but not much. So I feel like that looks nice and I can cover that up. And then these are the different pieces that I had. I had this one, which is just black and white that I could run across the middle. But if I'm going to do all of this over here, like that's plenty of journaling room. I don't really need that. I had this, which is just a square that says "We are here, local eats," kind of like that. I like the color. And obviously I have phrases that I can put over here. I'm going to have to add in that yellow over here too. So I know that, I just haven't gotten to it yet. This one that's also yellow based, and I kind of like that it says "Grab some grub," because literally it was just like a hole in the wall, didn't look like anything much from the outside. So it, you know, certainly wasn't a fancy meal, but it was good. And then I have this that just says "This was delicious," but then I'm not sure, like, would I stamp something in black there? It takes up less room, so a little more problematic. I had that one that just said "Yum" in black and white. There is white, not a whole lot of black. Just not sure about that. And I have this one. I think this is my favorite. It was dinner. It's the right color. It's not the perfect red match to that, but I think I could get away with it. And then this was the other one, but I think that's too much blue. And when I see it like this with all this together, yeah, it's not that one. So I think these two are my favorites. So I think I'm just going to have to decide between the two of those. I decided to go with this one. I just liked it a lot given the saying, and I realize it's not exactly the same color as these, but it's close enough. And then I do have something picked out I might use over here. I also have this one as an option that's a little bit closer to that color, or I could use both. It's nice to have options, but I do think I'm going to have to figure out my background paper. And originally I thought, oh, maybe I'll just do red, but now I'm thinking, no, maybe I want kind of a yellowy tone, because this really, if I cover this up, this really is the only red you're going to see, and I'm not sure that that works the best. I could also maybe go with a lighter green, because I now have that here, a little bit on the plate, and then I do have my green salad up there. So I'm gonna go into my scraps. Hopefully I'll find something, because I really don't want to cut into a new piece of paper if I can avoid it. So scraps would be great. I've been sort of striking out, finding paper that will cover the back of this and look the way I want with the color I want. The closest I can find is this. I have a 6x12 already cut. It is very similar, you know, to the color of green that's in here. It's just a lot of green. That's all. So I'm not 100% in love with it, but it might be what I end up doing. And I can kind of, you know, cut this however I want to make it 6x8 effectively. It's actually more like 5.5x8, the menu, but close enough. And I can have this on there, and then I can work these in somehow. They don't have to be next to each other, they could be around, but at least I would bring in that yellowy gold tone. So I think this is the one I'm going to go with, just because I can't find anything better. So I think it's just time to chop up this paper. I have this adhered now. I did cut this down to a 5.5x8, so now it fits this perfectly. That's good to go. I will be using an attacher underneath this, but I don't want to do it till this part is done, and then I can adhere it and not have to worry that, oh no, I forgot something. So I have that. And then I have these two. So I just have to figure out, where do I want them? Like, do I want something up here to offset that, and then this would be the opposite way? Do I want them together like I had them? I just need to kind of play around with it and see what I think. So I think this is how I'm going to put this together, but in looking at it, it feels flat to me. And I was thinking, well, if I did some ink splattering, what color would I use? And I thought maybe a brown tone because of that, just to bring it together. I do have this Glimmer Mist. It is light rosewood, comes out kind of that brownish coppery color. I think that might go nicely with some of this. So little goes a long way. So I'm going to start with this side and get that done, and I probably will do a little bit here as well. I did my ink splattering, so you can see that here, and I think that's just enough. And then I did the card as well. This one's almost dry. I think this one needs a little bit more time, so I will let them dry and then I'll be back. While I was waiting for these to dry, I did apply the attacher here, so that's on there and ready to go. Now I can put my top piece on there because I added my phrases where I wanted them. And I think that brown splattering showed up really nicely. I wasn't sure how that was going to go, but I like it. All right, so now we got to get this as close to these borders as possible. Ah, shoot. It's not 100% even with the bottom, but you know what? This paper that the menu's printed on is so thin, I don't want to mess with it. I will just trim off where it's a little off here, where it doesn't necessarily line up perfectly. Let's look at the back. That's fine. And then down here you can't really see it. The top was the issue there. That's not too bad then. Oh, well, you can see it a little bit on this side. All right. Yeah, it looks like it was just a hair off part of the way. Good enough, I think. So there we go. So I've trimmed that off. And now I have these. Let's see if I'm happy with it. I'll do my journaling off camera, of course. But in terms of the layout itself, I do like it. I think this one is good to go. So here's another one finished for New York. Thanks for watching.